A quick content note here before we begin this episode of What Am I Rolling? This episode's one-shot, Koriko, A Magical Year, is a journaling game aimed at telling a fun, coming-of-age story with light-hearted and tender moments. However, the idea of a young teenager travelling to a strange city alone can be fraught with safety issues, and there are some themes which occur regularly in this game that are worth mentioning at the top. Possible themes for this story include parental expectations and control, loneliness, especially from moving somewhere new, peer pressure and media harassment, and infrequent physical or emotional harm. So, if you're not in the right headspace just now, please feel free to stop listening and come back if or when you're ready. Thanks again, and stay safe, my friends. Hello, and welcome to What Am I Rolling? A twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. This is part 2 of our Koriko A Magical Year one-shot, so make sure you listen to the first part before continuing on with this episode. So here's how Koriko works. This story is told in 6 sections, or volumes, each taking an hour or 2 of time. To begin play, players will need the book, a deck of tarot cards, and a stack of dice. They'll also need a journal to write their story in, either a physical notebook or a digital Word document. The player starts by creating their witch and their home village, before whisking them away on their journey to Koriko. Now, this city is a place of the player's own invention. It might be a charming seaside resort, a smog-choked metropolis, a palace in the clouds, whatever they can imagine. With their version of Koriko established, the player's witch can then explore and meet the city's weird and wonderful residents. To do this, the player will draw cards, each relating to a prompt that introduces a new event to the story. These prompts are a chance to exercise the player's creative writing muscles. And when things get risky, they'll add dice to an increasingly precarious stack. At the end of each volume, the player pauses to reflect, spending time resting before writing a letter home to their witch's mentor. Then, perhaps after a break, the player will move on to the next volume of events and ephemera, being guided through the gentle rhythms of the year. Finally, as winter draws to a close at the end of their witch's year in the city, the player must make their biggest decision yet. Will they stay in Koriko to remain the city's resident witch, or leave, back home or off to pastures new? And that's it. That's all you need to know up top before beginning Koriko. I'll go over the various rules and mechanics as a reminder when they come up in the story. One last thing before we begin. Naturally, there are times in this one-shot where the players and myself, well, mostly myself for this one, get the rules wrong or forget something plot-wise. Whilst we always endeavour to stick to the rules wherever possible, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. And what matters most is that everyone enjoys themselves. So, with all that out of the way, let's play Koriko. Chapter 3. Life in Koriko. So let's pause to reflect on the journey we've made and what's yet to come. By now, you've left your sleepy village and travelled across the land to reach Koriko, your new home, and things are about to get busy for you. The rest of your story will take place in and around the city as the year passes and the seasons change. Departure had its own way of getting you started in this new place. Now, let's learn how the remaining 5 volumes work. So the second volume, Arrival, covers your witch's first few weeks in the city. You'll meet a handful of confidants and start to get a feel of Koriko. Then we'll move through the seasons, so spring, summer, autumn, winter, each getting their own volume of encounters and exploration. And finally, we're going to wrap up with Year's End, the final volume. You find all of these in the next chapter, A Magical Year. Alright, easy enough. Before you can continue your story though, you need to set up and learn a few more things, and that's what this chapter is for. We'll start by getting your tarot deck ready and introduce the rest of the rules that you'll need, things like drawing cards and stacking dice. Then we'll explain how it all comes together into a structure and flow that you'll use throughout each volume. Finally, we'll wrap up this chapter with an overview of the whole process and a flowchart that you can use to check and reinforce your understanding of the rules. I love a good flowchart, so tick, tick, tick. So the tarot is a deck of playing cards, but for many people it's also a revered object of cultural significance and meaning. The prompts in this game draw inspiration from the Rider-Waite interpretations, though many prompts subvert or ignore established meanings altogether. Though there is a kind of ritual to drawing and interpreting of the cards, the game does not intentionally draw on the practices of tarot reading. In short, you do not need any knowledge of tarot to play this game, but you might find it an interesting topic to learn a little more about. There are two types of cards in the tarot deck. We've got the minor and major arcana, and each type of arcana has a special purpose in this game. So the 56 minor arcana are used to provide prompts called moments. These are cards that are like a standard playing card deck with 4 suits. We have wands, cups, swords, and coins. I think in my deck, the coins are called pentacles, each containing an ace and numbers from 2 to 10. However, tarot cards also have 4 face cards, which are Page, Knight, Queen, and King. The 22 major arcana represents confidants in the game. Confidants are significant characters your witch can meet as you play. They are the numbered cards that go from the Fool, which is 0, to the World, which is 21. To prepare the tarot cards, we're going to split them into 4 suit decks. These 16 card decks contain a mix of major and minor arcana cards, each grouped around common themes. So we have wands, which represents ambition and expression, cups, which represent community and tradition, swords, which represents influence and conflict, and finally coins, work and wealth. So let's do some prep. I've already done a little bit, so I knew the tarot cards were going to come out, so all I've done is separated them into their suits. And like I said, I have, I think it's, yes, so my particular deck actually doesn't have coins, they're pentacles in my deck, but that's fine, I'll know what I mean when I'm talking about them. It says, take all 14 of the minor arcana cards from a single suit, so wands. So I'm going to take wands first. So yeah, so I've got all 14 of them. That includes those face cards of the Page, Knight, Queen, and King of Wands. Yep. Take 4 major arcana cards for that suit listed below. Okay, so for the wands, I need to take the Magician, the High Priestess, the Hermit, and the Moon. Okay, yep, I've got those. Shuffle these 4 cards face down, and then select one at random. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Right, got one at random face down. Combine it with the 14 minor arcana cards and shuffle well. Okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, so that's that one done. Next, select a second major card at random from the remaining 3. Alright, I'll shuffle them again just in case so I don't know. I'm going to go for this one. Place it on top of the rest of your shuffle cards face down, and then set the 2 unused major cards aside. You won't be using them again. Alright. And then repeat this process for each suit until you have 4 suit decks, each with 2 major arcana cards, one shuffled and one on top. So I'm going to do the same with coins now. Coins needs the Chariot, Temperance, the Star, and the Sun. I'm going to let's take this one. And then put it into the deck here of coins, and then shuffle those at random, so we won't know what's inside that. Okay, and then another major card. So for this one, we'll put that on top. Alright. What I am going to do, because it's going to be very hard to tell which deck is deck, because my brain's going to be like soup, I'm just going to put a little sticker on it saying that this is the coin deck, and then that is the wands deck, and I'll do the same for cups and swords as well. So for cups, I need the Hierophant, Strength, the Lovers, and the Hanged Man. Do that. I'll take this one. Yep. I'll put it in the cups. Bit of a shuffle. And then another one. We'll take this one, put it on top, and discard the other two. Alright, then we have swords. And swords, we need the 4 major arcana cards that are going to be chosen from. We've got the Fool, the Emperor, the Empress, and Justice. Alright. Let's take this one and shuffle into the suit deck. And then pick one to go on top. I'm just going to pick this one and put it on top. Alright. Those are my 4 decks. I'm just putting them so I can see them, and they've been labelled so I don't get them mixed up. I've already done it once so far, so let's not do that again. The Wheel, Death, the Devil, the Tower, Judgment, and the World are not aligned with a suit or shuffled into a suit deck. Keep them nearby. We will introduce these confidants only if explicitly told to do so. Okay, so I'm just going to pop them in its own little pile over here. With your suit decks prepared, you should place them in order from left to right. So wands, cups, swords, and then coins. You should keep them in this order, as you won't be able to tell them apart from their card backs. If you need to pack your decks away, separate them with some labelled scrap paper so they're easy to set out again when you need them. Done that. Okay. So the suit decks contain all the possibilities that your witch might encounter over the course of their year. We've got friends, jobs, reflections, mysteries, tragedies, and much more. However, you don't draw cards directly from the suit deck when you play through a volume. Instead, at the start of each volume, you create a much smaller deck of cards, the volume deck, which contains all the prompts you'll need. This is important because you can influence the cards that go into your volume deck, shaping the kind of experience your witch will have. Each of the remaining chapters will start with you setting intentions for your witch, which is the process of creating your volume deck. You're in the writer's room here, so consider your witch's mood and ambitions, and your own interest in the developing story. Follow the instructions at the start of each volume, drawing cards from the suit decks and your confidants as directed before shuffling together. This will give you an 8 or 9 card volume deck. You'll have chosen the suits you would like to focus on and how much time you would like to spend with your confidants, and we'll explain what your circle of confidants means in a second. You'll draw 7 cards from your volume deck to complete a volume. You might run out of cards before you've drawn 7, and that's okay. Just move on to the end of the volume with your rest and letter. Now, confidants are archetypes, particular kinds of people with potential for drama. Classic. Only when you introduce one of these archetypes to your story will you turn them into a specific, detailed person with a name. Not every character you introduce to your story needs to be a confidant, and not every confidant has to have a memorable impact on your story. Confidants in this game simply provide the content and support if you do decide to spend more time with a particular character. Your circle contains the confidants you've introduced to your story. It's a set of major arcana cards that you'll choose from and add to as you play. The most common way to add a confidant to your circle is by drawing their major arcana card from your volume deck. If you've never met that confidant before, this is your opportunity to introduce them to your story. You might also meet a special confidant through a bonus or event. They work in the same way as any other. Find their card and add it to your circle. Confidant cards can get added to your volume deck at the start of a volume and then return to your circle as they're drawn and resolved. When you add a confidant to your circle, follow these steps. Find their page in this book, read their introduction and decide if you'd like to add them. Create a character using the character lists, recording your choices in your journal on a new page. Choose a tone to add to your journal's map from their tone list. Read their meeting prompt, which you'll use in your journal entry, and then add the Major Arcana card to your circle. Okay, pretty straightforward enough. Once you prepare your volume deck, you're all set up to begin drawing cards and telling your story. Each card you draw will give you one of 4 kinds of prompts to use: moments, meetings, hangouts, or crossroads. So moments. Every minor arcana card has a matching prompt. A moment. These are rememberable jobs, rooftop reflections, perilous rescues, and other notable events which will make up the majority of your witch's year. Each moment has a suit, which you can use with any tones you've added to the matching section of your map to further inspire your story. Meetings. So when you draw a major arcana card for the first time, you can introduce that confidant and add them to your circle, using their meeting prompt to describe your witch's initial encounter with them. Confidants also have suits, and you'll often add tones to your map as part of meeting them. You can draw on these tones in subsequent hangouts. Hangouts. When you draw a major arcana card for a confidant from your circle, your witch can hang out with them. Choose a hangout prompt. You can and should bring confidants into your story whenever you like, as part of a moment or even a hangout with another confidant. But only their special hangout prompts count towards unlocking a crossroad. Crossroads. If you've completed 3 hangouts with a confidant, you may resolve their crossroad instead when you next draw their card. A crossroad is a pivotal prompt that introduces change or closure to that confidant's story. Twists. Whenever your card draw results in a moment, meeting, hangout, or crossroad prompt, you will now choose a twist. Twists are short phrases intended to inspire your answers to the card prompt. Things like morning routine or a warm welcome. Your choice of twist can make a big difference to tone. Imagine meeting a new confidant with a twist of a fragile shell instead of a pressure to party. Each volume has a twist grid. 16 unique twists presented on a 4x4 grid. Record each twist you choose, either copying that twist grid into your journal at the start of each volume or drawing a sketch of the grid at the start of each entry. Some twists are risky, which means you will stack dice as part of resolving your prompt. Risky twists are things like your first test or genuinely scary, and they are marked with the word risky on the grid. When you mark twists to complete a row or column on the volume's grid for the first time, you can choose one of the bonuses listed below it. Bonuses provide things like special confidants or free lessons. You can only choose one bonus each volume, resolving it immediately. When you draw a confidant card, you should add or return it to your circle after resolving it. Otherwise, after resolving or skipping a card, you should discard it. Set your discarded cards aside in a pile. If you have cards left over in your volume deck at the end of a volume, return any confidence cards you've previously met to your circle. Discard any remaining cards, including confident cards you haven't met. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Dice stacking. So, you use dice to roll for prompts in Departure, but now the main way you'll use dice is stacking them in a tower, one on top of another. This tower will become more and more unstable as it grows, and when it finally collapses, it represents your witch making a significant failure or mistake. You should always stack dice on a steady hard surface with nothing breakable nearby. You might want to use a tray or a border too, if possible. I've got one of those somewhere, so that's fine. If you knock over your tower by accident when you're not trying to stack, or you need to pack away your tower at the end of the session, there are no consequences. Note down the previous height and rebuild your tower when you're ready to start again, taking as many attempts as you need. You'll stack dice whenever your witch does something risky, which means that there's a chance of failure that has interesting consequences. There are 2 ways that your witch's day-to-day life can get a little risky. The first is by choosing a risky twist, as described before. The second is when a card prompt tells you that it is always risky, so you'll stack regardless of the twist you choose. When your witch does something risky, you'll always have 2 of the 4 skills, so power, craft, care, and lore, to choose from. You're choosing the approach that the witch will take as they attempt to deal with the risk. This choice is shown on the page where you found the card prompt. Oh, I see. Okay. So the card prompt will always tell me which of the two skills I could use for it. The lessons you've written under each skill represent your witch's experience and practice. The more you have written under a skill, the fewer dice you'll need to stack when you choose that skill. Ah, interesting. Okay. However, you should always choose the skill that makes sense for your story, even if your witch isn't very good at it. Sometimes we need to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone to grow. So how do we stack? So take a number of dice according to the skill chosen and the number of lessons beneath it. Stack 3 dice if you have fewer than 3 lessons under a skill. Stack 2 dice if you have 3, 4, or 5 lessons under a skill. And then stack just 1 die if you have 6 or more lessons under a skill. Stack them one by one, adding to your existing tower if you have one. If you stack all the dice without the tower collapsing, your witch succeeds at what they were doing. They brew the perfect potion, they catch the tumbling parcel, or unlock the enchanted chest. Write a new lesson under the skill used to capture their success. The first time you manage to stack 21 dice in your tower, take the Major Arcana card for the wheel and place it on top of your current volume deck, and draw 1 extra card during that volume. If the tower collapses whilst you're stacking, your witch fails at their task. They break a window, break a promise, or break a heart. When the tower collapses, don't touch anything. Count the most common result amongst the fallen dice, ignoring any still stacked. If there are any ties, pick the highest number. Use this result on the consequence table to find out what happens next. Finally, clean up your space, removing all dice, including any stacked, before you start playing again. There are alternative rules available if stacking does not work for you. Well, I've gone for it now. We're going to have to do the stacking. So I need to go find my my dice tray for sure. And make sure I've got a big enough space for it. Alright, and I'll get my dice as well. Got my Solemn Veil dice, I've got my Alien dice. And I've got some Vaesen dice. Okay, loads of d6s. I won't get them out just yet. Hopefully, I'm just trying to reorganize my my space. I don't want things to do crashing, especially when I'm recording as well. Why is it I just don't have a big enough desk? Alright, as a lot of stuff, let's quickly recap. So, when we're setting up a volume, we make a new section in our journal to mark the start of the volume. Set the intentions, that's drawing the cards from the suit decks, forming the volume deck. And then we play through the volume, we draw a card from the volume deck and find the matching prompt. We choose a mark a twist prompt from the twist grid, choose a bonus if we completed the first row or column. We then stack dice if we chose a risky twist or the prompt says it's risky. If the tower collapses, we get consequences. And then we write an entry using all that stuff we've collected. We capture that story with a new journal entry. Then we discard the card or return the confident card to the circle. And we'll repeat this process for 7 cards per volume. Then once we've drawn the 7 cards, we reach the end of the volume. We're going to rest as instructed. We're going to write a new lesson based on those resting reflections, write a letter home to the mentor, and then we're going to clean up. And then we take a break before we begin the next chapter of the witch's story. Simple enough so far. I will say there's an absolutely cracking card flowchart diagram, which is super helpful. I really love that because there's a lot of moving parts, and I appreciate when I go through it, I'm like, oh god, there's always word stuff, but we're learning as we go. So it should hopefully be straightforward once we get going. Chapter 4, A Magical Year. So this chapter contains most of the content you'll use for your story, how to start and end each volume, the moments you'll use when you draw a minor arcana card, and the consequences your witch may face. You don't need to read it all now, refer to it as you play. We have 6 volumes presented in this chapter, using the same formula. The left page contains the instructions for setting intentions to create your volume deck, as well as the twist grid and bonuses. And then the right page contains the instructions for ending the volume, including your rest and various letter prompts. Then we've got moment prompts, which will be organised by suit and rank, and there'll be broad themes for each suit as well, which is good. And then the 2 skills you can choose from when you're doing something risky. After that, we've got consequence prompts that will result from any dice tower collapses, confidence, which is going to have all the confidence stuff, which has all the friends and rivals information that we'll need. And yeah, that's it. Okay, well, we're just going to start with the arrival stuff. When you're ready to continue playing, take a moment to breathe. And then turn to the next page to find the second volume, Arrival, and continue your story as you explore the city and meet some new friends. Okay, let's do the setup for Arrival. So it says when you set intentions and create your volume deck, you add 2 cards from each suit deck. Straightforward enough. All right. So we'll just do these 2 from... So 2 from wands, 2 from cups, 2 from swords, and 2 from coins. So that's 8 cards in total. Shuffle these 8 cards together as always. In the next volume, you'll have some confidence to add to your deck as well, as you've already met some. Yeah, I've got in total 4 confidence here, the way we set up the initial thing, so we're going to have quite a few of those. All right. There you go, those are the 8 cards, and so I'm going to be drawing 7 of them. So I'm going to look at the twist table now. I'm just going to read them all out so that we know what we're getting into as we go through. So it's a 4x4 grid, and each row and each column has something in it. Usually it's a phrase of some sort. I will say, like, the diagonals of the diagonal 4s are in a different colour to indicate they're risky. It's a slight sort of light brown. So from left to right, starting in the top row, we've got Your First Test, which is risky, A Warm Welcome, Alone in the Crowd, A Rooftop Chase, which is also risky, then Morning Routine, A Rude Awakening, which is risky, Prove Him Wrong, risky, Feeling Homesick, Renewed Ambition, A Naive Mistake, which is risky, Genuinely Scary, risky, Planting Seeds, Up to Your Knees, which is risky, Late Night Flight, The Last Time You Saw It, and Setting Off a Spark, which is also risky. So we've got 8 risky prompts here. Interesting. And then we've got the bonuses at the bottom, which we choose if we complete either a row or column. We have 2. We've got Push Yourself and Take a Break. Push Yourself, the next time you need to stack dice, add 2 additional dice. If you succeed, you may record a second lesson under any skill. And Take a Break says remove up to 6 dice from your tower, restacking it as necessary. Consider how you find some time for yourself to recover. Oh, interesting. Oh, I like that. That's an interesting one. But yeah, that's it. That's what we've done in terms of the setup of the volume. That was quite quick, actually. Let's get started. I'm going to draw the first card. Oh! The Ace of Cups is the first thing I've drawn. The Ace of Cups. Let's go see what that is. You visit your favourite spot in the city. Where do you sit and what do you drink? You observe a simple scene, something that could have happened any day here. How have you changed since leaving home? And then some suggestions it has is sunrise coffee, riverside jog, park slope picnic, lonely old dog. Ooh. Favourite spot in the city. Interesting one to start with. I mean, one of the things I was dreaming about before I left was this, and sort of the memory of it was this, was it the tangy taste of tea? Look at my notes. The restorative tang of tea. So I think I instantly go and seek out a tea shop somewhere. There's a place quite close to like the main train station, and it's one of those places which is quite I'm trying to think, like, not a marketplace per se, but like it's one of those buildings which has very long, thin, like, shops with very high ceilings. And in this place, it's got a lot of shelving and storage space all the way up to the ceiling with those like ladders on rails where people, well, mostly shop staff, I don't think they'd let people up there, but like can go up and like get orders for all these little bins, like metal bins of loose leaf tea. And it's a whole mixture of like, the classics, the Earl Greys, the Empress Greys. I found out something recently. Empress Grey is actually Lady Grey, but Lady Grey is Twining's brand. They copyrighted the Lady Grey. So Empress Grey isn't as different tea, which I was stunned by when I found that out. So yes, you have Earl Grey, you have Lady Grey, you have like different seasonal teas. Certainly around festive time, you probably have ones that have like candy cane infusing, you've got herbal, you've got your fruits. And what I like about this place is that it's run by an old woman. Long grey hair that she has up in like a big sort of like hair clip, messily so. And she always has tea samples. And so I went on the first day, I was really excited, and she took the time to go through each of the teas and like find out what my tea profile is. And like, yeah, a gimmick possibly, but she took the time. And so every day I go back and I sample teas. Maybe I even offer to deliver some things to like the local offices and shops. Give taster, like maybe work as a tea taster, like out on the streets, like offering samples to people that are freshly brewed, like green teas or something. And I just developed this sort of like, not kingship per se, but I developed this love because it's what I saw in my dream, and here it is. It's meant to be. It's that serendipity moment. Like, so I think my favorite spot is that tea shop, and outside there is one teeny tiny like table and a seat. There's not enough room to have like a cafe or anything like that, so, but I always take it, and I'm always in there. So I will spend hours in the morning looking out at people watching, people going to work, people commuting, people going to school. Maybe one day like seeing, I'm trying to think, what were they saying? It's the beginning of the year, so maybe seeing like, oh, I know what it'd be. It'd be taking down the Christmas decorations. It'd be taking down the festive like decorations and stuff, cleaning up the streets, the main streets for spring, and like making sure that so that I see like gardeners planting new bulbs. I see people taking rubbish away and like cleaning, and I see it all happening like as this organized machine. And people, it's nothing special, but it feels like a clean start. It's a clean slate. How have I changed since leaving home? How have I changed? I think I have changed in the sense of maybe I haven't changed that much, actually, thinking about it. I feel like I'm excited. Everything I'm curious about. I ask more questions. I think that's it. I ask more questions. I think before I would roll my eyes and like there's that frustration. And now I'm here. I'm a bit overwhelmed by all the new stuff. Like I knew it would be new, but I'm excited to try things. Whereas maybe before, back home back in Gristhorpe, I wasn't eager to try new things because I didn't think there was anything new there. There wasn't anything to discover there. Okay, so that's the moment. I now need to pick a twist. I'm going to pick a warm welcome. That's on the first row in the second column. And the reason I'm going to pick that, I'm going to pick it because the kindness that this tea shop owner has given to me, and that every time I come in, it's like, I know maybe you could always be like, oh, it's a returning customer, etc. But I think she sees this like excitement in me of trying the teas and trying to appreciate it. Like I write down everything she says in a notebook about the different tea flavors and profiles. I think she's excited to share. I think she's excited to go through. So like she even like talks about upcoming shipments and how like the process of drying the leaves and putting the flavors together, and that maybe one day she could restart her her own blends again. The shop is too small. When she was training, she could make her own teas and stuff, but then she bought this place and then wasn't able to put on such workshops because there's just no space, and the city itself is crowded and noisy, and tea is something that you reflect upon. I appreciate I've gone straight for tea, and I realise that a couple of months ago I did do the last tea shop. There's a theme. But yeah, we'll take a warm welcome. I have discovered my new favourite place in the city, just a few minutes walk away from the main rail station. Glynis's Tea Market. It's full of shelves packed with every kind of loose leaf tea leaves you can imagine. Black, green, fruit, root. Glynis even gave me a special tea profile session and gave me some free samples to try out of these different blends. Oh, she's really nice, but the store is so full of these bins. I don't know if I'll be able to try all the teas before my year is out. I'm writing this outside on the little table with a chocolate peppermint blend. It's it's very different and tastes nice. I'm watching the gardeners plant the new bulbs for the spring-summer months coming up, and I can see the street cleaners down the road putting away all the rubbish and taking down the winter lights. It's like a clean slate or a new start, I guess. I have so many questions about this place. I just don't know where to start. Next card, then. Aha! We've got a major arcana card. We have the Sun. The Sun. Let's go find the Sun, shall we? No one can discourage the Sun. They bring a fierce optimism to every pursuit and grew their dream into a fruitful venture. What goals could they help you realize? They are a self-asserted individual. They are optimistic, faithful, and benevolent. Ooh. Meeting. You're working for the Sun, who's a pretty big deal. What are you helping them with? You really want to impress them, but you're feeling flustered and distracted today. Why? And how do you mess things up? Then there's some suggestions that say, shattered ceramic, words unsaid, messy explosion, sign misread. They are very cool about your mistakes. How do they help you reflect with kindness? You ace a job in the end, and they offer an invitation to come back any time. Well, let's make the character profile. So I'm going to go to the back of my book. That's where I'm going to put all my characters, is at the back. So first of all, we need to pick a name for this confidant. We're going to say their name is... We've got Soren, Julia, Phoenix, Karim, Honey, Bree. Oh man, I love Bree. Let's go for Alia. Alia is she, her. And it says venture, choose one. So let's check what these ventures are. What does Alia, what's her business? We have a wellness centre, a community gallery, organic farm, and ethical fashion. I like community gallery. Community gallery sounds fun. Looks, we've got to choose two. We have serene eyes, intense gaze, radiant smile, pursed lips, laughter lines, glowing skin, glossy hair, manicured nails, shaved head, slender fingers, confident posture, and soft body. I'm thinking it's a city, it's busy, it's a community gallery. Let's do... I want to impress them, right? I think we'll go for pursed lips and go for manicured nails. As someone who's only had on nails very briefly, I feel like the confidence and the patience not to tear them off is wild. Alright, then we have styles. What have we got style-wise? We've got linen shirt, silk blouse, yoga pants, tapered jeans, tailored suit, vibrant tunic, crocheted dress, cashmere scarf, felt beret, cowboy hat, pastel pumps, leather brogues, crystal necklace. I think tailored suit, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's a tailored suit, but then pastel pumps. I think she walks about quite a bit, networking and whatnot. And then it says, choose 3 tones to add to the coin section of your city map. Okay, I'm just gonna shoot over there then. This is the first time we're adding tones to this. So we have bathhouses, olive-lined streets, farmers markets, forest retreats, solar panels, planted roofs, clifftop vistas, orchard fruits, blooming talents, golden sands, sunrise yoga, green-washed brands. I have to add 3 of these. Okay, I'm gonna put farmers market, planted roofs, and then blooming talents. Nice. Okay, I like it. Is there anything else I need to do for her before I write my prompt? No, I've got Hangouts. Fantastic. Okay. What could be the twist with the sun? I'm making a mistake of some sort. I think a naive mistake, which is risky, is in the same column as that warm welcome. So we can do that. So I'm going to pick that. So I'm going to put a naive mistake. And it's risky, so I have to stack dice. I can use either craft or care according to this. I don't have either, so I have to stack 3 dice. So I'll do that now. Okay, I'm going to use these dice first. So there's 1. Ooh, almost going to tip it over already. 2, 3. Okay, 3 stacked dice. So nothing falls as a result. So anything else? Stack the dice. Tower's not collapsed. We write the entry. Okay. Aaliyah came into the tea market today to ask if I was free to help move some of the new exhibits and help set up the gallery for an opening. She's very cool and clearly knows her stuff, so I immediately said yes. Maybe she can help me with being more spontaneous. A lot of the art she sells feels like it's not been done with any thought or restriction or limit, and she has that good eye for what works. Oh, but then disaster struck. I was so busy trying to keep up with her talking that I tripped over myself and I smashed a new ceramic vase. I wanted the ground to eat me up on the spot. After checking that I wasn't hurt, Aaliyah helped me clear up the mess. I kept apologizing over and over, saying I would pay for it, but she said not to worry about these things, as they happened all the time. She said that even once, when she was first starting out, she dropped a whole paint can on the gallery floor by accident, and it took weeks of cleaning to get it all clear. She said that I need to take my time more and, ask if I need help. She could have slowed down and made sure that I was okay. Otherwise, she said, you'll get overwhelmed. Well, we finally finished the gallery with the new exhibits, and she was really pleased with how it all ended up looking. She gave me an invite to the opening and said I should call on her anytime if I needed more work. She certainly appreciated my help. So, I'm going to write my lesson, so I need to do that, because I've stacked my dice under the skill, so I'm going to stack under craft or care. I think... So care is kindness, intuition, and healing. Craft is potions, tricks, and method. Actually, I think it's care, kindness, and intuition and healing. I think that's what it is. So I'm going to put down, I helped Aaliyah set up her gallery for an opening. Okay, so that's that entry done. And I put that card, the sun card, back into my circle. That's why I keep it, I don't discard it. Okay, the third entry. Oh, it's another major arcana card. It's the Lovers. Lovers, okay. So I should put a little thing at the back. Maybe I'll New page. All right, the lovers. The lovers are sunny, harmonious, and tender, a model couple. Their foundation is solid, but a challenge is coming. What could you learn by helping them get through it? They are an attuned pair. They are both caring, receptive, and a little untested. Ooh. All right, let's do the let's make them first before we do the meeting. So their names. We've got 2 names and pronouns. We've got Amara, Carmen, Erin, Gilly, Karma. Let's go for Erin and Yumi. And I think pronoun-wise, we'll go for he, him, and he, him. All right, the challenge they have. Moving in, moving apart. New baby, big wedding, big job, big secret. I think moving in. I think moving in, it feels like that's an easy one that I can understand. That sort of moving apart. I don't know them at all, but moving in together is probably quite a challenge. Moving in. Okay. Looks. So we're going to pick looks, 1 each and then 1 shared. And the examples here, we've got bluest eyes, intense gaze. Everyone's got an intense gaze. I've noticed so far I've talked to them. Easy smile, chewed lips, neat ringlets, braided dreads, scruffy beard, heartfelt ink, soft freckles, honeyed voice, athletic build, soft body, augmented frame. I think the thing they share, absolutely, is easy smile. They look so happy together. I think chewed lip, we'll do that for Yumi. And honeyed voice for Erin. And then we do styles as well. Styles is 1 each and 1 shared. So we've got floral shirts, band tee, workout gear, pastel jumpsuit, geometric prints, handmade knitwear, high-waisted jeans, Chelsea boots, bold sneakers, golden hoops, felt beret, film camera. Absolutely, I want a jumpsuit in there. Let's say Erin has the pastoral jumpsuit. I think Yumi has the floral shirt. And they both wear... No, they both have film cameras. Yeah, film cameras. They have a shared love of recording. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And then tones. We're going to add this to the cups section of our map. We're going to pick 3 of these things. We've got cozy cafes, secret spots, flower markets, new build plots, lines of laundry, citrus trees, seafront benches, fresh pastries, clinking glasses, rooftop kiss, whispered laughter, sunset bliss. Oh, how beautiful. I want seafront benches. I absolutely want that. Seafront benches. I want new plot builds, or new build plots even, and fresh pastries. Absolutely. Yum, yum, yum. Already very wholesome. I love it. Okay. So that's me making them. So their meeting is that you're sat in a cafe taking a break. What has made you feel especially worn down today? Oh. And then we have feeling homesick, unkind feedback, sleeping badly, messy blowback. The lovers are on the table next to you, ask if you're okay, and you start talking. They're both warm, curious, and kind. You share your woes with them, and they share their hopes and fears with you too. Why do you feel at ease talking openly with these strangers? Oh. And then I've got to pick a twist as well. So let me go. Okay, it's a twist. I'm going to take twist. I'm going to take alone in a crowd. So that's on the first row. It's in the 3rd column. I'm going to take alone in a crowd because I think I like just being alone. I'm realizing again, it's that bit of homesick, I guess. In a crowd, I think, yeah, I feel like none of the others really work for it. Maybe I'm just feeling a little bit jostled. Like I said, I feel Aliha has been really kind to me, but I feel like I messed up, and I'm maybe kicking myself a little bit more as a result. I feel like what's happened is that I'm in this cafe. I'm taking a break from whatever it is I'm doing. Like, I think, you know what it is? I think I'm really struggling to find a place to live. I've not been feeling very well and tired, because at first the train carriage was like really exciting and stuff like that, but now I'm trying to find somewhere to live, and it's really proving difficult because I don't have the right papers, I don't have the right like fortitude perhaps, and a lot of these places that I've been looking at, they're either way too much or big, overwhelming, or too much for just me, or it's like small attic spaces, and I'm really struggling, and I'm like not sure how to feel about it, and I just feel the pressure of like I need to find somewhere soon because I'm not sleeping very well. And of course then you're like, oh well, have I made a big mistake? I should have looked for this beforehand. And I think I'm like looking through like these adverts on like the local newspaper, and I think I don't realize I'm crying a little bit, I'm just feeling a bit sniffly, and I just feel like a hand on my shoulder, and I look up and I see this couple, sort of youngish men, look like they're in their mid-30s, and they ask if they can sit, and they ask if I'm okay and what's wrong, and I just start like talking about how difficult it is to find a place to stay, and that I'm on this year and I want to make a difference, and I just start just talking about like all these places, and they're laughing as well because they've only just got their place and they're moving in together, and they ask would I like one of them to come with them to the next viewing or can help them a little bit, because they understand how difficult it is to find a home. And I think it's just the way they're laughing, and I can see how close they are and how they're listening to each other and like setting making fun of each other. I think that's the thing. I notice how at ease they are, and I think this is the first time I've actually seen like a young couple together. Like in the village and stuff, obviously people are either on their own or their partners have passed away or they've always been together. But clearly for the first time, seeing two young people just enjoying each other's company, and I'm like, oh, they must really like each other. They're moving in together. I don't know anyone that's done that. They all say the same. So this is like a new change, and that they say no, it's okay. We understand the stresses and the frustrations of the housing market. And so yeah, they offered to help me find somewhere. At first I thought I was on my own, but it doesn't feel like that anymore. It feels like they really understand what I'm saying, and for the first time I don't feel alone anymore in something I thought. It's again, maybe it's that sort of naivety thing, but I don't think Mabel realized how this sort of thing happens to everyone trying to find a place to live and find their spot in society. And so I feel reassured, and at the end I probably thank them. They pay for my tea and an extra cake, and they give me their new address, and they say that I can stop by any time, and if they need any help, just to let them know, and they'll come with me on any room viewings. So that wasn't a risky move, so I don't have to stack anything, so that's fine. Felt a bit down today, if I'm honest. I haven't been sleeping well. The carriage isn't all it's cracked up to be. I've been really struggling to find a place to live as well. Everything is either too expensive or not really habitable. I was sat in the old kettle cafe today, just really looking through the ads and circling them when I had a tap on my shoulder, and this couple, Erin and Yumi, were there. They asked if I was okay, and I hadn't realised that I'd been crying and sniffling, and they'd overheard. They came and sat with me and made sure that I was okay, and we started chatting about the housing market. It sounds like they also spent quite a long time trying to find a place to live together, which suited both of their different needs. I feel a little bit better now, and they got me another drink and cake to eat. Turns out I hadn't really eaten that much either today. They seemed really nice together, settled and relaxed, and also funny. I hope their place works out for them. Just need to find somewhere for me. Alright. And then I put the lowest card back, put it in my circle with the other people. There you go. And I think that's it for that entry. Alright, journal entry number 4 prompt. It's the Empress. Okay, well, it looks like we're going to get quite a few NPCs in here, huh? The Empress. Who's the Empress then? The Empress was once unrivaled, beloved by most and envied by the rest. But no one stays on top forever. What could you learn as you help them gracefully descend? They are a dwindling individual. They are tarnished, waning, and yet can still burn bright. Let's make their character then. So, see name. We have Harper, Kingsley. Oh, Kingsley. Oh, great name. Vivian, Wright. Let's go for Harper. Harper. And we'll go she, they. She, they. Oh, boutique. Choose one. So some of the examples here we've got tailored suits, antique jewellery, gourmet chocolates, custom guitars. I think chocolates. I like the idea of someone that runs a chocolate store. Looks, choose 2. We have bright eyes, sunken eyes, thin lips. Oh, no intense gaze this time. Wrinkled smile, pinned hair, receding hairline, youthful skin, faded tattoos, deft fingers, shaky hands, plump body, muscular build. I think we should go for pinned hair and I think thin lips this time. Thin lips. And then styles. We have linen suit, velvet dress, vibrant jumpsuit. God, jumpsuits are everywhere. Great. Sequin jacket, white stockings, tan cords, fur stole, silk headscarf, rounded glasses, gold belt, chain necklace, and glittery footwear. Ooh, let's go for silk headscarf. And let's go for round glasses as well. And then choose 3 tones to add to the swords section of your city's map. All right, let's do that quickly. So here we've got marble columns, household names, covered arcades, narrow lanes, branded awnings, oyster bars, window displays, classic cars, fashion portraits, pristine streets, moneyed tourist, handmade treats. Oh, pristine streets for sure. Let's go for window displays. And handmade treats. Makes sense with the gourmet chocolate shop. Let's do the meeting and then we'll find out what the twist is. So the meeting, you walk past a beautiful boutique with huge ornate windows and golden lettering. You can see that it's empty. Oh, except for a lone figure who seems to be crying. Oh no! The Empress. You startled them as you enter. What rote greeting did they try and recover themselves with? You're their first customer today, they explained. What did they tell you about how this place used to be? Oh. And there's some suggestions here like global renowned, trendsetters, royal patrons, love letters. Oh, I love love letters here. With the chocolates. That sounds fun. Okay. And then let's go to the twists. I only have 3 more cards to take. And I want to make sure I do get a bonus, because I think it's important to get these bonuses a little bit. And so either on that first row, I've got your first test, which is risky, and a rooftop chase, which is also risky. But then in that second row, where I've also got 2 put in, I've got Rude Awakening, which is risky, and then Late Night Flight. I don't think either Rude Awakening or Late Night Flight makes sense, so it has to be one of the other 2 if I want to get this bonus. I think I'm going to do your first test, and that is risky. But I feel like that's kind of, yeah. You know, I see someone who's also upset, you know? And it's my chance to help them. Okay, so for this, how am I going to help them? I can use law or craft. Feel like, let's see what I've got. I don't think I've got much in either. I don't think I've got anything. I'm going to have to stack 3 dice, making it up to 6 currently. So that's... Alright, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to stack 6 dice. Hopefully it doesn't fall. I'd feel really bad if it falls now, so... 1. Oh my god, my hands are shaking so much. 2. Oh, 3. Oh my god, that was pretty close to falling. How am I ever going to get to 21? That's wild. Ah. I was out exploring a part of the old town district in Koriko when I came across this big shop front. On the sign it said "Sweet Treats." I saw an older person through the window with their back to me. I tapped gently on the glass and startled them by accident. As she turned round, she looked like she'd been crying. Her eyes were all red and puffy. "Ah, better for seeing you," she said automatically, and bid me enter into her shop. The place was mostly empty except for one solitary chocolate counter, which showcased a whole range of gorgeous little chocolate pearls and selection boxes. She began to tell me that this used to be her father's shop, and that he was a world-renowned chocolatier. They used to provide a special service that made them stand out from the other chocolate shops, that they would hand-deliver handwritten love letters with every special chocolate box of the person's choosing. Chocolates and their flavourings, you see, had their own secret language, she said. I listened to them talk and asked all the right questions. I then suggested that maybe she should get in touch with Aaliyah, as she will be looking for something like this for her gallery opening, something different. Harper twitched slightly at that suggestion, and I thought I might have overstepped the mark slightly. But I still offered Aaliyah's card, and then bought a small box of bonbons as a thank you present for Erin and Yumi for helping me earlier that week. Harper did a beautiful thank you note, and gift wrapped the whole thing too. We said our goodbyes, and I left. I hope she's okay. Alright, I get to write a lesson now. Something to do with Harper, and it's got to be under craft or law. Craft or law. Now, craft is potions, tricks, and method. Law is curses, visions, and history. I think this is a history thing. I think I listened to Harper talk about her father and the chocolate shop and what it meant, and the history of... Oh, well, also the secret languages of chocolates, right? So maybe that. I learnt about the secret language of chocolates from Harper. Nice. And I put Harper into my confidence circle. All right. Number 5. The 8 of Wands. Ooh, okay. 8 of Wands. What does that mean? You decide to integrate a new technology into part of your practice. How will you make things more reliable, flexible, or potent? What are you choosing to sacrifice? What do you think your mentor would say? And then it says, 2-way radios, digital maps, portable cameras, silicone wraps. Oh, I think it's digital maps. I think I've got myself some sort of like smart device or tablet, because I'm trying to explore the rest of Koriko, these places around me, and I think I want to do this right, but I can't find any paper maps anywhere, and so I give in a little bit and get one of these like automatic map services from the local shop. it's nice. I know where I am at all times now. I don't have to worry too much. And I feel kind of bad because then Asta's map, like, which I've repaired and stuff, is not getting used. And I don't know what Fox Club would say about it, actually. I think he'd be fine with it. It's, like, if anything, he would probably say that, it served its purpose in getting me to Koriko, and now, I'm building on skills, so it's probably a good thing. And then we're going to go for a twist. So I'm one away from completing a row, that top row, which is a rooftop chase if I want to take that. I also have a Rude Awakening and Late Night Flight. There are other ones as well. I need to. I think I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna go for Rooftop Chase. I'm gonna go for that. Okay, so I did complete the row and column, so I'm gonna take that bonus now. I have to resolve it now, right? The next time you need to stack dice, which will be now. I can remove up to 6 dice, so I'm going to remove the 6, so I'll have nothing. Consider how you find some more time for yourself. So that's the bonus, and then I get to stack the 3 dice. Okay, I'll do that. I'll stack the dice now. It almost fell over again. So, all right. So I took the 6 out. So I'm on 3. I need to consider how I find some time for myself to recover after this thing. So, okay. So, after long deliberation, I gave in and bought a district map device, or DMD. I just kept getting lost and all turn around that I was losing a lot of time just wandering the streets willy-nilly. Oh, it all came to a head when this big crow just stole Esther's map right out of my hands, and I had to give chase all the way to the rooftops. I got it back, but I feel really awful about it. It has a small rip in its center. Well, at least the DMD will mean that Esther's map is more secure. I'm just gonna, leave it tied up in my bag. I did have to forgo some of the sample sessions at the tea market and then work couple more extra shifts for Aaliyah's gallery, but hopefully it's worth the money. I hope Foxglove doesn't mind too much about the DMD, or that I went onto the rooftop to get Asta's map back. I mean, he'd understand that I need to upgrade or be left behind like the rest of Grithorpe, and I needed it back because it reminded me of Asta's shop and what Asta did before I left. I'm sure it's okay. Okay, so this is another lesson. I think this is bravery, so this is empower, and it was I rescued Asta's map back from a crow or something like that, I think. Okay, so the lesson I wrote under power was I went onto the rooftops in order to take back Asta's map from that crow. Nice. Knight of Pentacles. A customer has a major life event ahead of them. What is it? They have been consulting you over the weeks as they prepare. What anxiety is consuming them? And can you get them moving again? And here we have for suggestions is record breaker, breaking free, big proposal, high stakes tea. Oh, high stakes tea, absolutely. Love that. Love that. Okay, and then what's the twist we could have? I think we've got our bonus now. We don't need to worry about anything else. We've done the take a break. I'm going to go with renewed ambition. That's in the first column on the third row. So I'm going to go for renewed ambition. And it's not risky, so I don't need to stack anything. So I think I am working at the tea market just now, Glynis's tea market, and I am, trying to get my feet under the table before I set up, and do my resident witch stuff. Trying to show give back to the community and like learn new things. So I've been busy like, sorting out the different teas, weighing and all that sort of thing. And I think one of the customers we have regularly is someone called Marcus. Glynis sort of like talked to me about like how Marcus has come in quite often in the last couple of weeks before I arrived, and he never really buys anything. He tries some samples and makes polite small talk, but actually doesn't do anything. I think eventually I decide I want to do something about this. I want to actually talk to him properly and work out what he wants, because clearly he wants something, and something's troubling him. And I follow him around the shop a little bit, which is very hard to do because it's quite a long shop. There's not many hiding spaces. And eventually I'm like I sort of corner him, and he looks very nervous. And I ask him what's happening, what's wrong, and he says that he is going to his partner's parents for the first time and meeting them for the first time, and he wants to impress them, but he doesn't know how, and he doesn't know anything about them necessarily. His partner works at the same office as him, and they've been going out for about 6 months, and he's just a bit nervous, and he doesn't know how to impress, and he thought maybe tea would be the way, but now he's not so sure. He doesn't really drink it, and I can see he's worried about the expectation, the people like, judging him because he doesn't know something. And I say, well, are you interested in tea? And he goes, well, no, I just thought something different to make me stand out and be unique. I'm like, well, what do you like? If it's not tea, there must be something else. And he talks about how he really loves birds. He loves like watching them, and he actually shows me he's got a sketchbook, and they're all of like line drawings of birds. There's like maybe a park with a lake or a little river nearby, and he sometimes goes there and he sketches them. And I'm like, these are brilliant. What's wrong with showing these? And he goes, oh, I don't know. They're not very good. And so I dig deep in my bag and I pull out like some blueberry. I bring out some like blueberries and some strawberries I have taken from like my lunch, and I sort of squish them together. And then I ask, is there a pencil drawing that doesn't mind sharing? And he goes, what are you doing? I take the pencil drawing and then I use the fruits and I make like a really terrible like pigments, essentially, like almost watercolor pigments, and I use them to paint on it. And his eyes go wide as I'm doing it. But I trying to show like, here's the bird in motion on the lake and stuff like that. And maybe I do a little bit, being very, very careful and gentle. And I say like, look, when I used to run out of paints or pencils, and a foxglove would show me how to paint using different things, and it's just different, and maybe that's something he could do. It's a wild idea, and I'm just suddenly remembered how fun that was, like painting with things that aren't actual painting materials. There's a moment where I'm like, oh no, I've absolutely ruined this picture. But I think Marcus takes it and is like looking at it, and he goes, yeah, that could be something different. And it's just, again, it's me trying to appreciate what he's doing. And I kind of realized that I've kind of ruined his picture. And like, maybe I didn't need to add something to it. But just the conversation and like talking about like, you don't need to be incredible or special, like as long as you love your partner and treat them well, then that's all that matters. Who cares about what other people think of you? He lets me keep the pencil drawing, and I say thank you, and I managed to clean up a little bit. I have made a little bit of a mess on the ground. But I feel good. I suddenly realized that impulse to like finish the picture and finish the drawing, seeing how like marvelous it can be, it's just not complete, it's a work in progress. That's what I say, is that everyone's a work in progress. I realized that I've done something spontaneous. I would never have done that normally. Whether or not it was the right thing to do, it's a different matter, but, Marcus has been coming to Glynis's tea market a lot lately. He has never bought anything, but just keeps staring at all the different bins. I tried to find out exactly what he was up to and followed him around the shop. It's actually quite difficult to do that. I finally found out that he was meeting his partner's parents for the first time, and he wanted to show that he was the right person for them. He wanted to show that he was clever, funny, and smart, and thought that tea knowledge would help him, but then he's become stuck. Turns out, what he really likes doing is drawing wildlife and birds in the park, and he showed me some really incredible line drawings. I really took a fancy to one, and with his permission, I added some colour and movement to it using my magic and my leftover fruit from lunch. I'm not sure if I made matters better, but he seemed distracted as a result, and not as anxious. I said to him that maybe you should just be yourself. Like, say what you actually enjoy rather than pretending to be someone you're not. People like seeing the real you, and it should be enough. I made sure to give him some samples to take as a good luck gift. I hope Glynis doesn't mind. And then we've got the final card, so it's either going to be another confident card or a prompt card. So the final card, the Arrival. Oh, look at that. It is a confident card. It is the Magician. The Magician, okay. Dazzling and gifted, the Magician is a force to be reckoned with. They are also cursed with a fragile ego and unpredictable mood swings. What might you teach each other? They are a confident individual. They are brilliant, flamboyant, and self-obsessed. Okay. Let's get their name down, shall we? So their name, choose one. We've got Bardell, Devon, Jenkins, Lem, River, Winnie. Let's go for River. River. River has they, them pronouns. Magic. Oh, they've got magic. Choose one. Yes. So we've got ornate spells, heirloom artifacts, occult science, ritual alchemy. Let's go for ornate spells. I like the idea that it's proper, like, incredible, their magic. Or whatever it is they do. Looks, we'll choose 2 looks. Different coloured eyes, piercing gaze, oh, better than intense gaze, brilliant smile, playful smirk, wild hair, bald head, melodious voice, shifting body art, scarred hands, slight body, stocky build. I like shifting body art, that sounds fun. Shifting body art. And playful smirk. And there's styles. Styles we have. Choose 2. We've got tailored suit, ruffled collar, flowing gown, gaudy cape, military coat, flared trousers, skinny jeans, animated scarf, pointed hat, silver circlet, suede loafers, and many feathers. Well, gaudy cape, 100% gaudy cape to rival my own. And let's go for many feathers. In my head, again, they've got beautiful colours to them. And Spinel, my moth, is probably quite jealous of the feathers and the way they can sort of float around or flit from room to room as a result. Cool. All right, so that's the choices done. Let's go to tones. So add to the wands section of my map. Let's see the wands. Add 3 tones. We've got glowing lanterns, potion racks, curry houses, disused tracks, twisting alleys, paper prayers, talking frogs, walking chairs, clockwork doors, soothing chai, cryptic symbols, ghostly cries. Ooh, well, glowing lanterns, absolutely love that. Soothing chai, and let's go for twist. Or do I want twisting alley? You know what? I want curry houses. Good curry. That's what we need. Good curry house. Absolutely have a street that has all the curry houses on. Amazing. All right. So how do we meet this person? So wandering the streets close to dusk, you sense that you've taken a wrong turn. Oh no, my digital map device hasn't worked. The shadows grow long and you are alone. Without looking, how do you come to realize that you're being followed? Nervous laughter, rumbling growls, reek of sulphur nearing howls. Ugh. As you turn to flee, the magician begins walking in step with you. What prowess do they casually flex to dispense the menace? What safe place did they escort you to? Ooh, how interesting. And then we need our twist as well. I think for this final one, I think this makes sense, is the late night flight, which isn't risky, but that's okay. So we use that as the twist. Maybe this is after the gallery opening. I've stayed late to make sure that all the drinks glasses are gone, all the rubbish is taken out, and I've locked up, just as Aaliyah has asked me to. And I think the battery, the power supply on the DMD is low, so I'm just trying to get back to the train depot, the carriage, as quickly as I can. And in my haste, I go down the wrong alleyway. I go past some of these incredible curry houses. The smell of the different spices of curry as people are finishing up shop is gorgeous. And then I think I get a feeling like behind me. I think I hear laughter. Like I hear laughter from all around. Like it's like a sharp laugh and a low laugh. It sort of congregates together. That's what I'm being followed. The sounds of like people like excitable, like, oh, who's this that's come on our turf? And I don't really see who it is, and I try not to look. I feel like I can feel eyes and like big smiles from the archways, and suddenly I just go, ugh, and as I turn, suddenly beside me is this really tall figure in a long cape, and I think Spinel on my shoulder sort of flinches a little bit as this person seems to have come out of nowhere. They are wearing so much colour, and it's almost like they're lit from within. It's almost like glimmering slightly. And as they sort of start to step with me, how do they dispatch it? I think they just, with a hand, a very gloved hand, like a white glove, they sort of like click, and the street lights all come on. I realised that this place had street lights and none of the light was working. They click, and as we pass every single street lamp, they click it on, essentially. And they're also maybe they're old-fashioned, like, maybe they're brand new, like, electric light ones. So they sort of click back as we walk to the end of the street. And they just escort me straight back to the gallery without saying a word to me. They sort of, like, maybe take my hand, and I look at them, and I can't really see their face. It's also been shadowed a little bit. They've got some sort of hat on. And they sort of motion for me to wait here. And they look around, and there's a noise as Aaliyah sort of comes out, and she goes, "Oh, you're still here. Fantastic. I was going to say, please, why don't you stay with me tonight? It's very late, and I would hate for you to be walking out." And as I sort of turn to show Aaliyah this person, this individual, I don't see them anymore. And I think the only thing I can hear is like the sound of like a tinkling bell. So I don't even know their name. I think I write them down as River in my book because it was just like they were always there. The river's always there. That sort of feeling of like, I did feel like comfort and safety a little bit. So I'm clearly in awe of it. Like the river can be something that it gives life, it protects, but also it takes away. So I felt like an immense power from this person, and they chose to protect me in that moment. What a strange evening. We'd finished late at the gallery opening, and I missed the last train home. I decided to walk back to the depot despite the MDM running low on power. Suddenly, I was lost. I could feel I was being watched. There was this awful, like, round of laughter, and I could feel, like, these smiles and grimaces surrounding me from all sides from the darkness. As the darkness pushed in on me and Spinel, I turned back to flee, and, well, they were there. River. Their cloak was like made of lots of different blue and green sequins which sparkled like water in the moonlight. They walked in step with me back to the gallery, not saying a word. They would click their fingers, and as we passed into each streetlight, and the light was reignited, banishing the darkness. Aaliyah was waiting for me back at the gallery, that she was going to offer for me to stay at her place, as it was too late to be out by myself. I thanked her and then turned to thank the stranger for their help, but they'd already disappeared into the night. Who was that person? Okay, that is the magician putting them back. So that's 4 people I've met in my arrival. Interesting, good group. We've got Aaliyah, the sun. We've got the lovers, Aaron and Yumi. We've got Harper, the fading chocolatier maker. And now we have River, the strange magician. So we keep them. And that's that. That's the arrival done. The final thing to finish this chapter is to write our letter. So after the last card is resolved in this volume, take a moment to pause. Rest for 1 minute. Consider the people you've met since arriving and what you feel they say about the city and what they might say about you. Then you may write a new lesson to capture those feelings. When I was reflecting on it, all 4 of those people are very different. And all of them indicate different things about this place. Like this idea of a faded chocolatier, got the tea market person who's not really a confidant per se, maybe they will be in future, the gallery owner, the young couple, and this strange magician kind of person. I think I can make friends, or I can find help when I need it most, and I can give help to those in return. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like these people all helped me or wanted to give me something. I think that comes back down to kindness again. So care, I think this is going to be a lesson under care. And I think I can always find help in the strangest of places, and I can always give help to those who need it. Maybe it's that first one. I can always find help in the most unlikely places and circumstances. Maybe that's better. You may now write your second letter home to your mentor. Read the coda and choose 2 reflections using your answers in the letter. And then consider taking a break before we go to spring. So I guess this is us finishing off. So we've got the final letter. A place to stay. Choose one of your confidants. How did they learn about your current living arrangements? Realizing that you have no secure place to live, they insist on finding you somewhere. What kind of space do they make available to you? And how do you know you'll be safe? Oh, well, that's perfect. That's worked very well. We have a vacant bedroom, dusty loft, painted wagon, undercroft. Oh, an undercroft sounds fun. I think several people would have talked to me about it. I think Eric and Yumi, maybe Aaliyah. What about the magician, though? Maybe the magician could give me an undercroft. I don't know. And then reflections, we've got first job, cadences, adrift, more small talk, and fiction. Let's go with cadences. The cadences says, you've been walking the streets every day since you got here. How are the rhythms of the city different to those of your village? And then I think I'd like to go for fiction next, because fiction says, make up a cheerful or harmless story about your first days in the city. What do you worry your mentor might think of you if you told the truth? I can really put in the magician's thing in there. I really want to explore the magician. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if they will give me a place to stay, but I like the idea that they do. But I think the confidants, I know, like, Eric and Yumi would probably talk to somebody. And I think they would probably talk... Maybe I should go live with the chocolatier lady. I'll have to have a think. Hi, Foxglove. Hope you're well and that everyone is okay in Gristthorpe. I know there was some storms a couple of weeks ago. Typical New Year stuff, huh? I've got some good news. I've found a place to stay. I have been looking for a place, and I met this couple, Erin and Yumi, and they kind of told my boss, Aaliyah, that she runs the local community gallery, that I was looking for someone, and she insisted that I live with her. She has like this big loft space, which she was going to store all her big art pieces in for the gallery when they weren't in use. But she says she can rearrange and make it really nice and private for me. There's even like a separate bathroom up there. She said that she'd planned to use it for like an artist in residence type space, but could never find a taker and just left it empty all this time. She says I can stay here and do my witch studies for reduced rent, but as long as I work at the gallery sometimes and make sure I keep myself out of trouble. It's great. I can't believe it. I'm very grateful to Erin and Yumi. I hope they like their chocolates I got them as a thank you. I'm glad to finally have a place to finally put my feet up and start work. I've been keen to explore the city every day, and I think I've got it pretty much mapped out in my head. It's really fast moving and busy here. It can be hard to keep up sometimes with all the goings-ons, but I think I like it. It's very different to home. Oh, also, I think I met another magic user. I'm not sure of their name. They helped me in a tricky situation. Essentially, there was these strange creatures one night, late at night at the gallery, and nothing bad happened. I was just off my guard. I could have handled it all myself. I could take care of myself, so you don't need to worry. But it was really interesting to meet another person that can use magic. I'll see if I can find them again, and at least say thank you, as I didn't get a chance to do so. Give my love to Esther. Her map has been really useful, and I've been using it a lot. Much love, Mabel and Spinell. Alright, that's, I think, yeah, that is Arrival done. Amazing. What fortunes and adventures await Mabel in the magical city of Koriko? Find out next time on What Am I Rolling? The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howard. This episode's player was me, Fiona. This episode's RPG was Koriko, A Magical Year, written by Jack Harrison and published by Mousehole Press. You can find out more information about Koriko and grab your own copy on Mousehole Press's itch page. That's mouseholepress.itch.io/Koriko. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on social media. You can find us at WAIR_podcast for the latest news on upcoming episodes. All the various links are in this episode show notes, including a link to our Discord. And remember, adventurers need not apply.
In the universe of Star Wall Odyssey, space is made out of the collective imaginations of all the thinking beings who live on various planets. These worlds are connected to each other through imagination. Common themes and ideas are strings between universes. And to get between them, people fly wooden ships that look like animals, which are powered by emotions. Also, people communicate with each other by contemplating orbs. The only way you can take pictures is getting stared at by a big psychic bug. And people have already declared victory in a war over the very concept of evil. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Star Wall Odyssey follows the adventures of the hapless inhabitants of the Lucky Finn tenement building, who suddenly find that their apartment is actually a spaceship, and that they're lost in a sea of boundless imagination. It's an actual play starring me, James D'Amato, Mel D'Amato, Ali Grauer, and Drew Merzieski. as we playtest the No Kings system, which will hopefully one day be the Skyjacks role-playing system. It toes the line between weird and wonderful slice of life and high-flying space fantasy. You can sample the first 5 episodes by searching for Star Wall Odyssey on your favorite podcast app, or get the whole thing by heading to patreon.com/oneshotpodcast and signing up for $5 a month or more.